The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, East Pierce Fire and Rescue Washington, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 35370. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new vehicle. Let's start just under the front bumper, where you'll find open-ended tow hooks attached to the frame rail on the passenger and driver side. As we move up onto the bumper face, on the passenger side, you'll find dual air horns. Just inside of that location, you'll find 2 closed tow hooks located protruding through the front bumper area. In the very center, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. In between the 2 of those, you'll find your unit identifier 118. As we move to the driver's side face of the bumper, you'll find your mechanical siren. And as we move up onto the bumper extension, D-handle gains access into the front hose storage location for your front bumper load. There is also a cutout located on the driver's side. All the way on the driver's side is where you'll find swivel discharge. As we move up onto the cab, you'll find clearance marker lights on the outer edge with a turn indicator. In that same bezel, you'll find the headlight structure housing a low and high beam headlight. The high beam is located on the inside. Just up from that, you'll find emergency warning lights forward facing. And then as we move all the way up onto the windshield area, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. And as we move to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 clearance lights. Directly above that, on the roof, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. And as we move even further up above that, that's where you'll find the emergency warning light bar. Located just inside the light bar in the center is where you'll find your opticom. Let's go ahead and take a look at some quick close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, starting with the front bumper extension. This is the location for your hose storage. We'll take a couple of general views here. Side of the vehicle on the driver's perspective. We'll move around now to the passenger side. And let's go ahead and take a look at the passenger and driver side again, with all compartments in the open position. And now we'll go ahead and focus in on the cab section on the driver's side. Let's first down at the axle, where you'll find a sight gauge located in the center axle, Michelin tires. As we move just under each door, you'll find perimeter lighting. Moving to the front bumper extension is where you'll find a lower emergency warning light. And as you move to the rear section of the cab wall, you'll also find an additional lower emergency warning light. As you move up to the grab handle, these are easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are your door latches, which also are keyed. Right next to those is where you'll find the grab handles, located for gaining in and out of the cab. Moving further up to the very top over the axle is where you'll find a side-facing cab floodlight. And then to the rear wall, you'll find your water tank level indicator. It is an LED. As we look around to the passenger side of the vehicle, same configuration and layout. Let's move back now to the driver's side. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, all of our safety and warning information placards. You'll also find door lock and latch located in this vicinity, and at the very top, window control, which are electric for all 4 cab windows. Let's move inside of the cab area. First, we'll start at the very bottom section just above the step. That's where you'll find an air inlet. It is recessed. And as we move up to the very top, you'll find this yellow placard. This is manufactured for your department. It has the 5-digit job number, date of manufacture, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for the component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. Let's move from this location to the floorboard area. Just a general view. Let's start on the far left-hand side, lower section of the floorboard, where you'll find your air horn and mechanical siren foot pedals. Right next to it, brake treadle and accelerator. As we move up, you'll find the master battery switch, quarter turn. It is the silver switch. You'll also find your tech module, engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port, and also display port for your maintenance team. Just down below that, you'll find ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit switch. Just above this location, about the left knee of the operator, you'll find your pump shift. You have instructions from road to pump, and on the opposite side, from pump to road. Just as a reminder, you need 2 green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump, indicating 2 green indicators before exiting the cab for pump operations. Let's move to the opposite side, where you'll find a switch panel housing your fuel primer. Let's move up to the dash now. Starting on the left-hand side, you'll find your ignition and start switch. Just inside of that location, we have a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. It will engage or disengage all emergency lights with one button. Just to the right of that, you'll find headlight switch and also switch labeled panel, which will allow you to brighten and dim lights within preview of the operator. Just to the right, your high idle switch and your OK to engage the high idle indicator. As we move to the left, you'll find gauges for transmission, oil, def level, and water temp. On the right, you'll find front and rear air, volts, and fuel. Speedometer and tachometer located directly in the center. As we move above and below, you'll find diagnostic information regarding your vehicle. Let's move to the right of the operator's space. Just a general view, this is the Pierce Command Zone. Digital display, tremendous amount of information. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Some switches located just underneath that. Also a push button, rotating dial for windshield wiper, push for fluid. Also your pull to apply your system parking brake, which is the yellow diamond. And then just to the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad, which is a push button digital readout with information to pump in neutral. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups. First, at the very top, this is the Pierce Command Zone. Tremendous amount of information. Please see the owner's manual for more detailed information. You'll also find switches for the engine brake, on and off, a setting switch for low, medium, and high for that engine brake, off-road traction, a suspension dump, tire chains, and also mirror heat. Just note that the tire chains is a protected switch. As we move further down, once again, you'll find pull to apply your system parking brake. Just underneath that, mirror control for flat and convex. And as we move just above the Pierce Command Zone, you'll find the wireless base station. This is for your fire comm system. Also climate control, heat, air conditioning, and defrost located just to the right. Also, you'll find an AM, FM, weather band, CD, Bluetooth, Sirius XM radio, and then also some switches here, electronic siren, a siren brake, which is the red, and also mechanical siren and air horn switches. Directly over the operator, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 9 feet 8.35 inches tall, length 31 feet 9.26 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 43,500 pounds. Also Emergency Master, Opticom, Clear Master, Perimeter Lights, Load Master, and Momentary Opticom switch. Moving further to right, another set of panel here, front flood, driver's side cab body scene lights, passenger side cab body scene lights, rear scene light, electronic siren switch, and also a red outlined siren brake. This is for your mechanical siren. Moving just to the right, we've got a few more components. First, your traffic advisor. Let's go ahead and take a look from the driver's seat to the rear wall, where you'll find 2 seats located forward facing, also EMS compartments, and we'll go back there in just a moment. Directly behind the operator's seat, you will find, when plugged into shore power, the outlet on the vertical wall will become active. As we move to the rear cab section, first you'll find affixed to the door panel, once again, all of our safety and warning information. Also, just a note, we have a red grab handle for gaining access, and also a grab handle at the very top section, lower section of the window. As we move to those warning labels, we also have window control, door lock and latch, and a grab handle. As we move inside, this is just in front of those seats, you'll find storage compartments and also additional storage at the very top side at the roof level. There is also LED lights inside those compartments. We do have netting in the lower section and a compartment light adjustable shelving. As we move toward the center, you'll find directly at the lower section of the engine is where you'll find a lift and turn latch, which will gain you access to the rear section of the engine. You'll find daily checks for oil and transmission. General view here of the rear section, once again, 2 seats forward facing. You'll also find in the center, in between those 2 seats, an additional storage compartment, and then at the very bottom section, an additional storage compartment at the lower section. Let's go ahead and move exterior now. We'll start with the rear cab wall, where you have an additional long compartment, adjustable shelving, and LED lighting. We'll go ahead and start now with the pump panel area. We're midship, and we'll start first at the very upper left-hand corner with your number 1 crosslay foam capable and number 2 crosslay foam capable. There is also a dead lay. Right next to it, you'll find a lift and turn latch will gain access to backboard storage. And as we move to the pump panel, you'll find the blue module, which is your LED water tank level indicator. Just beneath that, you'll have a green module. This is your foam tank A level indicator. Then we have 2 master gauges, pump intake and pump discharge. In between the 2 of those, you have your test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged, and these are for testing purposes. Let's move down just below this area where you'll find the Husky foam system. It's the red module. You also have an additional control module located here for your master stream device. As we move further to the right, you'll find your pressure throttle governor. And then further to the right, you have a switch bank. There is an indicator here, OK to pump. When you come out of the cab, you'll see that illuminating green if you've engaged the pump properly. Also a red air horn and also lighting switches. Just a quick point out to these 2 crosslays. Once again, foam capable. I would like to point out that there is a warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. As we move down, you'll find the number 1. This is the crosslay connection point for your discharge. And then just to the right, you'll find the Husky 3 foam system instructions and specification placard. All of our color-coded and labeled discharges are located within this area. As we move down, we do have a placard here, minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll go over that in just a few moments. Just beneath that, when plugged into Shoreline power, your auto charge will activate, indicating your amperage. Just to the right, you'll find a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Let's go ahead and move from this location just to the right, where you'll find 2 electric valves. These are the 2 modules that control them on the passenger side. And then also your tank fill. As we move further up and to the right, you'll find a recirculating line and also engine cooler. These are both twist, not pull. As we move down, the red placard is the Watrous placard. This is an indication placard of the type of pump that you have and also transmission and capacity. Just to the right, you'll find the fire pump primer. It is a push to prime air, therefore requiring at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices. To the right, you'll find your tank to pump. And then moving further to the right, you'll find 2. First, your manual pump shift, and then directly beneath that, you'll find the main pump drain. We also have a warning label, kind of difficult to see in this image, but it is a warning regarding fall. If you're going to climb on the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Let's move further down on the pump panel, identify a few more items. Let's start first on the left with your auto eject Shoreline inlet. This is a 30 amp auto eject plug. It also has a green indicator when it is plugged in, powers on. All of your color-coded and labeled discharge drains across the bottom. As we move to the upper right, you'll find a warning regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after they've received proper training. You'll also find the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5 inch ball valve female inlet. To the right, you'll find a warning regarding foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Just beneath that, you'll find your foam tank draft and tank foam lever. Let's go ahead and move behind the pan door here, where you'll find a yellow handle. That yellow handle coincides with the instructions on the rear section of the door regarding operation and fill of your foam tank system. Let's move just beneath the diamond plated area, where you'll find the foam pump intake drain and foam pump discharge drain. Back to the 2 placards. First, this is the Watrous placard, indicating you have a pump model CSU, capacity 1,500 gallons. You'll also find your minimum operation maintenance schedule for the test pressures of 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left, the associated GPM at test pressure, and then to the right, you'll find the associated RPM at each test pressure. Also, the 5-digit job number is located in the upper left. Just a general view of the entire body section. You can see 2 wheel chocks located in the front section in front of the axle. We'll start with the first compartment at the very top section. Roll-up compartment doors gains us access at the very top section. Shoreline inlet. When you're plugged into Shoreline power, this outlet will be active. You'll also find your battery charger directly above. We do have the S1 breaker panel located here. There is a protective panel in front of this. You can see the individual breakers, and they are assigned 1 through 7. Moving further to the upper right, you'll find an additional outlet located at the top. Once again, when plugged into shore power, that will be active. Also, you do have a compressor on and off switch and then also a gauge just beneath that regarding air pressure. As we move just over the rear axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 4 locations with retaining straps. You'll also find your fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel, which is the silver cap. As we move to the very top section, you'll find once again in this compartment, Shoreline power outlet. As we move this flap downward, it will expose the blue cap, which is your DEF tank fill location. This is a 4.5 gallon tank. Once again, silver, ultra low sulfur, diesel fuel, and the blue will be your DEF cap. Let's move now to the next compartments back. These are going to be directly behind the rear axle at the very top section. You're going to have an additional outlet, once again plugged into shore power. That's active. I'd also like to point out you do have a recirculating air system within your vehicle. This is the pipe located with the holes on the left-hand side. To pull out one upper tray and one lower tray, the release mechanism is on the right. Close up here of that Shoreline outlet. These are 20 amp outlets. Let's go ahead and move around to the rear of the apparatus. We'll identify a few things within this area. First, starting at the top with the emergency light, brake, turn, and a reverse light. Just above that, you'll find your air suspension dump and also rear scene lights. As we move toward the center area, you'll find warning labels here regarding pressure hazard. Cap may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also, you'll find an entanglement hazard warning. Because of those lines from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. As we move further to the right, you'll find a warning regarding fall. Always face the vehicle while climbing on it, and then also never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. You'll also find recessed your backup camera. In the lower section, roll-up door gains access into this compartment with a tray at the bottom, release on the lower right. You'll also find a rear discharge. It is foam capable. It's a 2.5-inch discharge. This is the tray in the outright position. The release mechanism is located on the lower right-hand side, and it will lock into position. General view here of the passenger side of the body. Let's take a look at some of the compartments. First at the rear, adjustable shelves, LED lighting, and you also have an additional outlet in the upper portion. Let's move directly over the axle where you'll find SCBA bottle storage. There is 2 to the rear with an oxygen bottle and also 3 to the front section. As we move up, D-handle gains access to the tool board to the back side of that. When that tool board is open, you'll find there is a lock mechanism located on the hinge side. Just to point out here, diesel exhaust, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operation. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. You'll also find the red and blue. These are your tire chains that are controlled from within inside the cab. SCBA bottle storage location for packs, and also in the upper portion you'll find a outlet. Once again, 20 amp Shoreline. Let's go ahead and move down to the midsection. We'll start at the very upper portion. There is a double door located here for additional storage and a grab handle just beneath that. As we move forward to this location, this is that backboard door that you saw. It's a pass-through from the passenger and driver's side, and then also all of your cross lays. Let's move down and identify a few things within the pump panel area. We'll first start in the upper corner with this warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines from the cross lays, there's the possibility of entanglement. Also, your vehicle is equipped with a decontamination warm wrench system. There's the instructions on the left. In the gray area is the module to control it. And then just to the right, you'll find your powered equipment rack for your ladders. Close up here of those 2 gray modules here, decontamination rinse and also powered equipment rack. As we move inside behind the pump panel is where you'll find the hydraulic fill location for that powered equipment rack. Let's move down on the pump panel, identify a few more items. First, starting with the left, another pan door gains access to this area. This is where your relief valve is going to be located just off your main pump inlet on the passenger side. As we move further down, we'll start on the left. This is your large diameter pump inlet. We also have a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps, once again, may be under pressure. Also, you'll find large diameter discharge. It's the green discharge located here. And as we move to the right, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge. It's blue in color. Moving further to the right, you'll find your cab lift. There are instructions here from raise and lower. Also, just to point out, make sure all items are secured within the cab area before operating this function. To the left, your decontamination connection location, and then just to the right, you'll find the 2.5-inch auxiliary ball valve female inlet. Also, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move to the cab section now on the passenger side. Same configuration as the driver's side, long compartment, LED lighting, adjustable shelving. As we move now into the cab area in the rear section, once again affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information. You'll also find electric windows and door lock and latch and a grab handle. As we move more toward the ceiling area, push on and off white or red lens lights, your AM/FM stereo speakers and air conditioning unit. As we move to the rear wall, you'll find 2 forward-facing seats. And then as we move just inside to the officer space, once again affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information, door lock and latch, also electric windows and a grab handle. Let's go ahead and take a look behind the officer seat where you'll find your unit radio attached to the rear section of the EMS compartment. You'll also find just beneath that a switch here. This is going to be for a backup battery. And then just beneath that, you also have 2 fuse blocks located here, a positive and negative for 12-volt access. Let's move to the forward section in the officer's area. On the A-pillar is where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fill. And then also your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, airbag. That's what these SRS indicates at the very front section. Because of that airbag, we do have this occupant warning regarding not mounting anything within this area. On the dash also you'll find 12-volt access. This happens to be USB type. As we move more toward the roof area of the cab, let's identify a few items. We'll start first with the modules regarding your main unit radio. It is on a swivel. As we move upward from this location to the very panel area, it's where you'll find your siren and PA speaker control. Moving just to the right of this location, you're going to find a digital readout for your speedometer. And then moving further to the right, we have an additional cluster of switches, front flood, driver and passenger side cab body scene lights, rear scene lights, and momentary opticom. You do have a future switch if you need to add additional switching items. Just as a reminder, any switch that's on will display the green indicator that the switch has become active. As we move to the very center, you'll find this light. If it is indicating or flashing, it's do not move your apparatus. You have a compartment or door open or ladder rack down. Here is your ladder rack in the deployed position, 24-foot extension and a 14-foot roof. You also have 2 long-handled tool storage in the upper portion and a 10-foot folding attic ladder at the very top section. As we move to the cab, this is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these identifying that area. This is extremely slippery. Let's go ahead and move now, spin around, and we'll take a look at the body section. Let's start first in the dunnage area. You do have yellow diamonds that are reflective, indicating the walking space for personnel. Also, you'll find your Husky foam system located in the very center. There is a fill location for that Husky foam system. Also, your master stream device and nozzle. As we move inside that dunnage area, you'll find top fill locations for your water tank and also top fill location for your foam. We do have a warning label on that foam tank. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Let's go ahead and take a look to the rear section with your doors in the open position. You can see your hose dividers. And now let's go ahead and take a look with the doors in the closed position. You'll find yellow diamonds. This is a walking surface. Congratulations, East Pierce Fire and Rescue Washington, on your new Enforcer fire apparatus. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.